Okay, so today we learned about composite functions. So we're learning how to take f of g of x and g of f of x and so forth. So this little circle thingy right here in the middle of the f and the g on number 1 means the composite of. So f composite g of x means f of g of x, which means that you're going to take the g of x function and you're going to substitute it into the f of x function. So this is going to be 2 times x plus 7, which would end up getting us 2x plus 14. If it's g of f of x, it means you're going to take the f of x function and you're going to substitute it into, so you'll take this and you'll substitute it into g of x this time. So you'll do 2x plus 7. Okay? Then if they have f of g of 2, you're going to take f of g of 2, and there are two ways of doing this. You can either find f of g of x and then put a 2 in. So we found f of g of x up in letter A, which was 2x plus 14. So I could do 2 times 2 plus 14, put a 2 in where the x is, and this would give me 18. Or I could do g of 2, which that would be 2 plus 7, which is 9. And then take f of 9, which would be 2 times 9, which again is 18. So either way you want to look at it is completely up to you. So g of f of 2 would mean that I either can go back to my letter D and find g of f of x, which is 2 times 2 plus 7, which would be 11, or I can take f of 2, which is going to be 4, and then substitute that into the g of x equation and do 4 plus 7, which is 11. So there are two ways of doing that. All right, number 2, f of g of x means that I am going to put the g of x function into the f of x. So this is going to be 4 minus 2x squared. G of f of x means that I'm going to put the f of x function, this one, into the g of x equation. So this is going to be 2 times 4 minus x squared. So we're going to simplify that. 4 minus x times 4 minus x is going to be 16 minus 8x plus x squared. You'll have to do the little box method or however, FOIL or distributing however you'd like. And so this is going to be 2 times that, because what we just did was this piece right here. So 16 minus 8x plus x squared, and we have to multiply that by 2. So that's going to be 32 minus 16x plus 2x squared. And that would be your g of f of x. So f of g of 2, we've already found f of g of x, and that was 4 minus 2, and now we're going to put a 2 in where the x is, so 4 minus 2 squared. So this becomes 4 minus 8, which would be equal to negative 4. Now, g of f of 2, we've already found the g of f of 2 equation. That's the one in B. So we're going to put a 2 in for that. So 32 minus 16 times 2 plus 2 times 2 squared. So 32 minus 32, those are actually going to cancel out. And you're going to end up having 2 times 4, which is 8. Number 3, f of g of x, which is what this means, is going to be the g of x function inside the f of x function. So we're going to have the square root of x minus 1. G of f of x means the f of x function inside the g of x function. So instead of putting the x, we put the square root of x and then minus 1. And that's that. F of g of 2, we're going to put a 2 inside where we found the in A, we found f of g of x, so now we're going to put a 2, so this is going to be 2 minus 1. Square root of 1 is equal to 1. And then g of f of 2, we found that in B, so we're going to put a 2 here, and then minus 1. Can't simplify that, so we're going to leave it like that. All right, number 4, again, f of g of x, we're putting the g of x function into the f of x equation. So 2 times x plus 3 divided by 2 minus 3. Again, this one went in there. So when I cancel those out, you end up getting x plus 3 minus 3. Those cancel, your answer is just x. The g of f of x function is equal, so we're putting the f of x function into the g of x, so that's going to be 2x minus 3 and then plus 3 divided by 2. The minus 3 and plus 3 will cancel. This becomes 2x divided by 2. The 2's cancel and you get just x. So now if we put a 2 in, we're going to take the f of g of x function, which is a, and we're going to put a 2 where the x is, which makes it 2, and then if we do the same thing for the second one, we're going to get 2 again, because now we're putting it back into b. Okay, on the back side, we are trying to figure out what was the function that would make f of g of x be equal to the h function. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out what was f of x and what was g of x, so that when I put g of x into the f of x function, I get this. So f of x would have had to be x to the 4th, and g of x would have had to have been 3x minus 1. If you put 3x minus 1 into x to the 4th, you end up getting 3x minus 1 to the 4th. So the f of x function is like the base. What is going on in the problem? What type of problem is it? And then the g of x function is what's inside kind of the parentheses, or inside the function, okay? So we talked about outside the function and inside the function. The outside function is what f of x would be. The inside function would be what g of x is going to be. So the outside function for number 6 would be the cubed root of x, and the inside function would be x squared minus 9. Outside function for number 7 would be the absolute value of x. Inside the function would be 2x minus 5. In number 8, the outside function would be 1 over x, that's like your parent, and then the inside function would be 2x minus 3. And we're done.